everybody. Welcome to the Talkin Yotes podcast. Here is your host, Jason Bird.
Hey everybody, welcome to Talkin Yotes. Today I got Chase Brooks. How we doing today, Chase?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Oh, can't complain. You want to give our listeners a little bit more information on yourself, what you do, and all that good stuff.
My name's Chase Brooks. I own a little hunting and fishing outfit. I fished professionally on the FLW tour and the Bass Opens and several different regional tours. I fished full time for 5 years, and then me and my wife were in the process of turning a part time business she had into a full time business, and I was getting a little burnout on the road, so I told her, this was back in 2018. I told her I was going to take a couple years off and regroup, get the other business going, and then I wanted to make another run at it. And in the meantime, I got to kind of add in the hunting deal, and then COVID hit, of course, and kind of put a hamper on everything else. And I was gonna eventually start guiding freshwater trips and get my guide license and all that. Well, COVID just kind of gave that a violent shove into, I guess we better do it right now, kind of a deal. So, actually wanted to guide on Amstead. That's kind of what I've considered my home lake throughout my fishing career. And a friend of my wife's, they had a place at OH Ivy, and we used to fish Ivy a lot, caught a lot of big fish out of there, but it was super low for years and it had just caught a lot of water. And he talked me into taking him and his son on a guide trip at Ivy. And I told him, man, I haven't been there since it caught all that water, and I need to go look around for a few days and refamiliarize myself with the place. And I went down there, fished a day and a half. They were on beds. And then I took him and his son out for 2 days, and within a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, I was having to turn people down. I was guiding 7 days a week, and it just completely exploded. And then, of course, that following year is when Milliken and them went down there and started catching the big ones, and it really got overcrowded and overpopulated. And so I kind of backed away. I got tired of the traffic. And then in the process, our other business was growing like crazy, and the hunting side of my business was growing like crazy. So I just basically I keep a minimum to my fishing trips, mostly sponsors and business associates and things like that. I actually just took over another position for another oil field company that I've been subcontracting through for several years, and now I took a company spot with them. But they've offered me a schedule that I can, take to do all my other stuff, my hunting and my fishing, and as long as my other stuff's taken care of, they're pretty flexible with what I do. It's been pretty much the best of all the worlds.
Heck yeah, you can't beat that. Just a little more information about Chase here. Chase reached out to us in regards to the Vycah camo brand. You want to give a little bit more information about Vycah there, Chase? Hey everybody, just wanted to take a quick minute to tell you about our partnership that we have with Vycah. They're a premium clothing line designed by outdoor enthusiasts who are passionate about hunting and the outdoors. If you have any questions on them, don't hesitate to reach out to us directly on our page or check them out on their website at vycah.com. Now, back to the podcast.
Sure. So when this actually goes back to before I started fishing full time. I think it was 2012 or 2013. I got on pro staff with Denali Rods, and I've been on with them since. And gotten to know Scott. He's the owner, Scott Estes. Gotten to know him real well over the years. And back in late 20, early 2021, he was visiting with me with several of us, not just me, but about doing his own camo company. And so that, of course, like any business, takes a while to get it off the ground, but he got it started in 2021. So we're still pretty young, but growing like wildfire. Basically took all the things that everybody liked about all of your high-end gear, your Sitka, your Kuiu, all the stuff you liked about it and all the stuff we don't like about it, and basically, put it all together and designed. I hate to use the word perfect camo, but or perfect gear, but it's amazing stuff. It's quiet. It's Barbary fleece lined on the mid and the late summer or late season stuff. So it's super comfy, super warm, and super quiet. The early season gear it's got ripstop. So unlike your Sitkas and your Kuyus, you can wear that stuff in the high country and get away with it. Out here in West Texas where we hunt, you wear any light season gear through this stuff, and you're gonna tear it to shreds the first take. So I've still got some of the original gear we've started with 4 years ago that I wear through some of the nastiest stuff you can ever imagine: briars, brush, cactus, rocks, and I still have not torn a piece of it yet.
That's awesome. Going off of, you mentioned that you're an outfitter as well, and you do the fishing and the hunting. What kind of fishing do you go after, or fish do you go after rather? Hey everybody, just taking a quick second away from the podcast here to talk about our partnership with Freaks Game Calls. They're the first ultrasonic game call on the market. The sound quality of these things are absolutely outstanding. The sound is nothing that we've ever heard before. We've called in tons of coyotes, quite a few bobcats, and we've seen some pretty wild stuff calling them in with this Freaks Call. Make sure you go check out their website at freakscalls.com. Follow them on their Facebook and their YouTube. Subscribe to them on there, and we'll get back to the podcast.
We target bass mostly. I will do white bass trips, and I can't get into too much detail, but I did get my captain's license finally, and I'm looking at adding some stuff, possibly some saltwater stuff down around the Rockport, Corpus Christi area, but pretty much any Central Texas, South Texas, freshwater lakes, bass, the occasional crappie trip, but pretty much just bass and white bass. I ain't no cat fisherman, so that's a trip I'd have to pass on to somebody else.
Yeah, yep, I can agree with you on that one. What about on the hunting side of things? What do you all go after there?
I've got whitetail predominantly, pretty much all predators, dove, quail, lots of dove and lots of quail, lots of whitetail this year. I just picked up another 1,200 acres that hasn't really been hunted. It adjoins the place I already had, and it really hasn't been hunted at all in probably 3 or 4 years. And the place on the other side of it is, I'm not sure, it's in the 4 to 6,000 acre range. It's huge, and it hasn't been hunted. So I started a protein program out there 4 or 5 years ago, and not only that, I started a management program. The genetics are there. There's just too many deer, and it hasn't been managed in the last couple years, and I talked to the guys that on the third side of the ranch. I talked to them into kind of buying into my program as well. That way, it doesn't do us any good to do it if they don't do it. So we've got about probably a 17 or 18,000 acre area there that is now being fed properly, managed properly, and the results are just, it's all low fence, but we're pulling in deer from everybody that's not feeding, and then on top of our management program, we're growing some really nice deer.
That's awesome. So what are all the do you guide for predators then as well down there then?
I can. I don't really advertise it if I have somebody that wants to come out and predator hunt. So I do have some buddies that do the calling contests,
Yep.
and I pretty well leave the varmint stuff and the predator stuff to them because they do a phenomenal job about helping me keep the predators down and manage my bird herd and all that stuff. So, but I do have a lot of javelina. I do javelina hunts, and we also have, like I said, we got a lot of birds. We do have lions, but I don't, unless they become a problem, we don't really mess with them. If we got one that starts messing with killing a bunch of deer or messing with the landowner's goats, then we'll call in the dogs to go get them. But that's not something we really really advertise. We mainly focus on the deer herd.
I gotcha. So down there in Texas, then you use dogs to hunt them then?
The lions. Hmm.
Okay, okay.
We've tried calling for them and tried baiting them, and it's just not impossible. But really, if you don't have dogs, there's those cats are super smart, and they're really hard to get on if you're not running dogs.
Yeah, say I did a podcast here last week with a guy that predominantly knocks down mountain lions, and he's up in the mountains on the eastern side of the United States, and he's knocked them down. He said it is a difficult animal to once you learn it, it's not so difficult, but if you're coming right out the gate, it's a pretty difficult animal to even call in.
Yes.
So when you with your guys that you have that do the predator hunting, is it mainly are you guys mainly just going after coyotes, or do you have what other predators do you have down in that area?
It's mostly fox. We do have very few, I think in five, let's see, not even 6 or 7 years I've been down that place, and I think I have one coyote on camera. So very few of those. We have a handful of bobcats, but the fox are really the predominant predator out there. Lots of coons, which I started trapping about 3 years ago, and I'll never get rid of all of them, obviously, but we have trapped hundreds of them, and they're just everywhere. So just trying to keep, and of course skunks and things of that nature. Just trying to work on our bird habitat and keep the bird predators away. I think those guys killed about 100 fox last year. I was just noticing a lot on trail camera, and so I called them guys in because I'm an old man and I go to bed early. So uh, I called them in, and I just told them, man, I have them all over camera. I don't know. I know there's a lot, but I don't know really what y'all are going to run into. And they absolutely whacked them. So
Yeah.
that's done a number for my quail and my dove population.
Well, that's good to hear. So do you guys have is it mainly gray fox down there? Or do you have any reds?
There's a few reds, but it's mostly grays.
Gotcha. Yeah, say I've talked to a couple guys that have done that West Texas big bobcat hunt
Yep.
and talked to the guy here. I think we just put his video out Monday or this last Monday, and he said that he entered his first year going down there, and he shot. I think at one point they were at 75, just in
Yep.
a 24-hour period. I'm like, holy crap!
Yep. It gets. I used to have a place over out in far west Texas, over other side of Pecos, and we had a real bad coyote problem out there. And some guys come out and called in that contest one year, and they shot like 65 or 68 coyotes in one night. So
That's wild. Yeah, so we got quite a few coyotes up here in Iowa, but not nearly that much. Hey everybody, just taking a quick second away from the podcast here to talk about our partnership that we have with 365 Thermal. They are an authorized thermal dealer. They carry all the big name brands such as Pulsar, AGM, Rix, iRay, Knockpix, Fox Pro, Two Vets, and Sniper Hog lights. Go ahead and check them out on their Facebook page at 365 Thermal and their website at 365thermal.shop. They also have a Facebook group called 365 Thermal Group. Wade's a great guy to work with over there. Tell him that we sent him your way. Check out our discount code for 365 Thermal as well. It's down in the description. Now back to the podcast.
they're they're a severe nuisance.
Yeah, I've heard it's a pretty target-rich environment down there in Texas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Going back to Vycah, what is your favorite products that they come out with or that they have on the line?
So I wear the Ascent pants. They're in the casual line. I wear them every day. Got them on. They're my daily drivers, I call them. They have vented legs down the side, and they have a vented waistband because 90% of the year where we live is just hot. So the early season, the Xenix line, and these on the casual side is like I say, I wear that's 90% of my outfit. the early season, I mean, even during hunting season, you might get a cool morning where you need a hoodie, but it's going to be in the 70s at least 70s or 80s most of the time. So the early season gear is what I run the most, and that's like I touched on a little bit earlier. You know, we have a lot of mesquite, a lot of cactus of different sorts, and of course, when you hit a deer, they're gonna find the gnarliest, nastiest, thickest stuff to get in, and you're gonna have to drag them out of that stuff. And that this early season gear, if I wouldn't be able to do, I've had hunters come in from other states wearing. I hate to keep picking on Sitka and Kuyu, but and I tell them, man, you better wear something different because if we have to go drag a deer out, that shirt and those pants are going to be trashed after as soon as we get back to camp. And I've had some of them that listened to me, and some of them that had to learn the hard way. So
Yeah, expensive way to learn, I would say.
yes, sir.
So with your guiding of deer, are you mainly just in Texas, or do you guide in other states?
Just in Texas for
Just in
now.
Texas. Okay.
I
So
used to back when I was fishing full time. I actually would guide for a friend of mine had the high fence place down in South Texas, and I would go guide for him during the off season, and then I would go, fish the tour or whatever during fishing season. So once I got out of that, and then he switched ranches, and I'm moved back up this direction, and I've got a few places over here that I run some hunts on, and then one that I actually manage. So
okay. Okay. So I kind of got a pretty vague question that I ask all my guests. What is your favorite and most memorable hunt that you've either guided for or your own personal one?
oh gosh, man, there's so many, but I would probably have to say my first elk hunt in Colorado, 2020, I believe, or 2019, 2020. I ended up getting a cow with my bow, and that was it's a whole different animal than it appears to be on YouTube. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. So
Chasing those elk around in the mountains, trying to get them into bow range is it's pretty gnarly.
oh yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah, especially with a bow. I enjoy bow hunting. But the predator hunting I got into, I've been coyote hunting for years and years now, but I have some cousins that also helped me out with the page, and they got me into the thermal side of things. And I think I sat in my deer stand last year for 3 stands. I mean, with the population up here getting hit pretty hard, it's wasn't much luck in the deer stand, and
Right, right.
but yeah, the coyotes have there's a bountiful number of them. So with your also going back to your outfitting, what's the name of it?
It's Brooks Outdoor Adventures. It used to be Chase Brooks Fishing, and then when I started incorporating the hunting side, I accumulated it all and started a new LLC, and it's Brooks Outdoor Adventures. Got a decent following on the Facebook. I got a couple Facebook pages, Instagram. I'm gonna try to ramp up my YouTube this year. I'm gonna get some new cameras. My YouTube has been pretty uneventful in the last couple of years with the oil field businesses that we have, and trying to keep up with that. It's my social media has severely taken a back seat. So we're gonna try to get that ramp back up this fall and start putting out some more content on YouTube and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I can say the same thing between Facebook, the podcast, and YouTube. We've been kind of slacking on. Granted, we don't really hunt too much in the summer for coyotes up here. I know there's a lot of
Mhm.
guys that do, and it sounds like it's a blast getting them within 15 feet and getting them with a shotgun. But yeah, that's definitely one thing that I'm going to be, or I should say, we are going to be working on here this coming fall and winter. So, another question I got here for you? What's your number one advice for anybody that's getting into hunting, whether it be predators, deer?
Man, just do it. I was blessed in that my dad had some family friends growing up that owned land. And so we didn't have to pay to hunt. You know, I would help them work cattle and fix fence and do stuff like that. And I had year round access to their place, which is something a lot of people don't. And it's getting worse and worse with the cost of everything. It's getting really hard to find places to hunt, you know, unless you're hunting public land. But you know, a lot of private here in Texas. But the biggest thing I would say is if you've got a bucket list hunt or whatever, just go do it. Just if you need a couple of years to save the money, whatever, just if you don't go do it, eh, you're gonna wish you did, you know, because it's gonna get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and then it's never gonna happen. So,
Yep.
I mean, that's I've always lived my life by, you know, kind of a live the moment kind of deal. You know, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. So if there's something you want to do, just do it. Figure out a way, make it happen, and just go do it.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. Yeah, say there's a couple guided hunts that I've been looking at myself, and Texas is definitely one of those big states that I'm like, that looks like it's a pretty target rich environment. I know, as you
Oh yeah,
mentioned, in your area you got mainly the foxes, and sounds like if the worst thing that you're gonna have is you're gonna run out of ammo if you go down there.
pretty much.
But yeah, say, is there anywhere that we can send all of our listeners? And
Yeah, my personal page is Chase Brooks on Facebook. Brooks Outdoor Adventures on Facebook. Instagram, I think it's still under Pro Angler Chase Brooks, but I've changed the handle to Brooks Outdoor Adventures, so I'm not sure. It still shows up as both, so I'm not sure how that works. And then my YouTube is still Pro Angler Chase Brooks, which I'll be posting on that, and here hopefully this fall start ramping that up and sharing some more stuff off of it.
that sounds perfect. Yeah, say, and I'll put the links for all your pages in the show description as well. So make sure you guys go check him out.
Appreciate it.
But I appreciate you getting on here with me today, Chase, and I won't keep you any longer today.
Absolutely, man. I enjoyed it. Appreciate it. If you have any questions about anything or the gear or, you know, whatever it is, always shoot me a message on Facebook. Anybody else that has any questions about anything, the gear, the rods, the reels, the hunts, the fishing, just shoot me a message and I'll do whatever I can for you guys.
All right, that sounds perfect. Thanks everybody for listening.